Minneapolis police are searching for the person who shot and killed a 20-year-old man and an 8-month-old baby. The shooting happened around 1:30 this afternoon near 11th Avenue and 26th Street East. That is right across the street from Stewart Park and near Abbott Northwestern Hospital. When officers arrived, they found both victims in the back seat of a red 4-door sedan. Both had been shot, and the baby boy was still in his car seat. WCCO's Reg Chapman spoke with the victim's sister.
My younger brother.
Only 20 years old.
20 years old.
34-year-old Julia Johnson says she wants to know who would gun down her brother in broad daylight across the street from a popular and very busy South Minneapolis park.
All I know, he's laying over there dead. That's all I know. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't remember the last time I seen him.
It was around 1:30 in the afternoon when the 911 call came in reporting shots fired. When officers arrived, they found 2 individuals in the backseat of a car with gunshots, the youngest victim still in his car seat.
One adult male was pronounced deceased at the scene by Hennepin County paramedics, and a juvenile who we believe to be between 8 months and 11 months old was transported to Children's Hospital, and that child has since died.
Johnson says her brother, 20-year-old Gustav Christensen, was not the father of the child who was also shot and killed. Investigators are interviewing witnesses searching for any information that will lead them to a killer. In South Minneapolis, Reg Chapman, WCCO 4 News.
And Reg tells us police are still waiting until more witnesses are interviewed before releasing a description of the shooter. The medical examiner has not yet officially released the names of the victims.
A young man and a baby boy killed in the latest round of street violence today in South Minneapolis. The gunfire broke out around 1:30 at East 26th and South 11th, just across the street from Stewart Park. Beth McDonough was out there this afternoon. Beth, this is a volatile situation and ending up being a real tragedy. Very sad.
It really is, and there's so many disturbing things about this. One of them being that authorities say that the gunman set out to end one life. By the time it was all over, the volley of violence silenced another person, a baby born just 8 months ago.
I was at work and I got the call that my nephew was shot, and I rushed down here.
Not hope, nor having a hospital nearby,
That he's gonna die. I hope he doesn't die.
could save Jaden Redden from the bullet to his tiny chest.
He's dead.
For Jaden's family, his shooting was a hit to their heart.
Yeah, he died.
Agony and anger spread around the shooting scene and intensified when folks realized another person was killed before the baby, 20-year-old Gustav Christensen.
He's laying over there dead. That's all I know. I don't know why. I don't know how.
Investigators say Christensen, who's not related to the baby, was sitting next to him in the back seat of this red car.
They were coming to visit people who were in this house.
They were parked in a nearby alley when a burst of bullets wiped out this window. Police say Jaden was strapped in a car seat and didn't stand a chance.
This is a targeted attack. We do not believe that this is a random incident, and we're encouraging anyone with information to step forward and talk with the police.
Relatives ran past the crime tape toward officers desperate for answers and to see Christensen one last time.
You know, like my mom always said, you know, somebody will walk out the door, you'll never know if they're going to walk back in.
Well, the baby's mother, along with several other people, have been taken in for questioning. I just checked, and no one has been arrested. Now, there were concerns of possible retaliation, so extra officers were called in to help secure the scene and keep the peace in that area, Bill.
And we know that park across the street was crowded with a lot of people. Anyone see the gunman? Any good descriptions?
A number of families did tell police that they did see the gunman, but they gave different descriptions of this person that they thought was the gunman. Police told me today they think that might be because there was a language barrier, that many of the witnesses, they don't speak English, so an interpreter was brought in to help gather information, and they're trying to sort that all out tonight. So we hope by tomorrow we have a better idea, a better description of the gunman.
All right, Beth, thanks. And we looked into the overall crime in the 3rd Precinct, which covers southeast Minneapolis. The latest numbers from Minneapolis police show overall violent crime is up about 2% from this time last year. But the number of people being shot is rising dramatically. Compared to this time last year, 3rd Precinct shootings are up by more than 55%.
Tonight, police are trying to figure out who's responsible for a shooting in South Minneapolis. A man and a baby were found in a car. Both are dead. KARE 11's Heidi Wigdahl was at the scene today and has the latest.
As a soccer game kicked off at Stewart Park, an investigation was underway just across the street.
This is a targeted attack. We do not believe that this is a random incident.
Officers responded to reports of a shooting just before 1:30 p.m. Near 26th Street East and 11th Avenue South, they found 2 victims in the back seat of a car. The man was pronounced dead at the scene. An 8-month-old boy was taken to Children's Hospital and died there.
All I know, he's laying over there dead. That's all I know.
Julia Johnson says one of the victims is her 20-year-old brother, Gustav Christensen of North Minneapolis.
You know, like my mom always said, you know, somebody will walk out the door, you'll never know if they're going to walk back in. And it's hard, you know, because I lost my mom and my sister, now my brother.
Police say several people were taken in for questioning to try and determine their involvement, but they're encouraging anyone with information to contact police.
Tonight, a gathering to mourn the loss of 2 shooting victims, one of them a baby boy. The shooting happened in the Phillips neighborhood of Minneapolis at East 26th Street and 11th Avenue South about 1:30 yesterday afternoon. Beth McDonough was there yesterday when that crime scene was just raw with emotion.
And tonight, Beth shows us that calls for justice from the place of so much pain.
Neither one of them deserved to die.
Everyone here is on the front lines of grief. Where they gathered is just as important as why at this testimonial to the loss of 2 lives. 20-year-old Gus Christensen and 8-month-old Jaden Redden. Christensen's family, along with neighbors and anti-violence activists, held this vigil to reflect on what happened here. Yet it was too hard for Jaden's family to return to the place where he died. Monday, authorities searched the area with canines looking for more evidence and hoping to jog more memories for the sake of these families and justice.
There are other ways to deal with conflict, and there are other ways to help community members overcome their challenges.
Relatives say Christensen worked with his brother at a bakery in St. Louis Park. As for Jaden, he of course was just beginning his life. Police have questioned one person of interest, but they say no one's been arrested.
Help us understand the relationship between the 2 people who died, the baby and this man.
That's been kind of a nagging question for most everyone at this point, but we are told they are not related. That's according to Christensen's family and to Jaden's, that they are family friends. That's it. Their deaths, by the way, bring to the number of murders in Minneapolis this year to 28 now.
Oh, such a sad number. Beth, thank you.
It was a result of what I would characterize as diligent and persistent detective work, and also work by officers at the scene and by people in the community that took the time to tell us information and to meet with officers. That was what kind of brought this case to the success and where we're at today.
Julia says she doesn't know the suspect or who would want to shoot her brother. She also doesn't know the 7-month-old boy who also died from the shooting and why her brother was with him.
Minneapolis police say they've arrested a teenager in the double homicide that happened Sunday.
20-year-old Gustav Christensen and his girlfriend's 7-month-old baby, Jaden Redden, were killed when someone shot through the rear window of the car they were in. This happened near 11th Avenue South and 26th Street East. Earlier this week, police said they believed Christensen was the intended target. Today, police say they arrested a 17-year-old boy early this morning on probable cause murder. Police say they won't give out any more information until the county attorney makes a decision about whether to charge this teenager.
The Hennepin County Attorney's Office charged Jawan McInnes with 4 counts of first-degree murder for the weekend double homicide in South Minneapolis, which tragically included a 7-month-old boy. McInnes, age 17, of Minneapolis, was charged with 2 counts of premeditated murder and 2 counts of drive-by shooting. Although McInnes is a juvenile, the charges were filed in adult court. He will be treated as an adult for terms of trial because he had a previous certification as an adult for attempted first-degree robbery. This makes no sense. Taking the life of another and a baby in a dispute which we're not sure of, but may have been over a debt not repaid, and shooting in a car with a baby sitting there. According to the complaint, witnesses saw McInnes wearing a blue hoodie arguing with 20-year-old Gustav Christensen II. While Christensen was sitting in a car near 26th Street East and 11th Avenue South. After some verbal dispute, McInnes pulled a handgun, shot Christensen, then moved around as Christensen moved around in the backseat of the car and shot, and apparently that's when the baby died. He has, after receiving his Miranda warning, confessed to the crime, as we have alleged in the complaint. We're seeking $1 million bail. We will take this case to the grand jury, which we must if we're asking for a premeditated murder. The sentence, the lightest sentence we will ask for is life with no eligibility for parole until 30 years served. as a juvenile, if we seek an adult penalty of life without parole, we must conduct a separate Miller hearing, and we do not know enough about this case to make that decision at this time. But we will go to the grand jury, and we will seek a sentence of at least 30 years.
Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman, speaking Thursday, is pushing for life in prison for Jaquan McInnis. That is, if he's found guilty of murdering this man, 20-year-old Gustav Christensen, and a 7-month-old baby in South Minneapolis. McInnis is 17 years old, but is charged as an adult. But we found he could have already been in jail during last weekend's shooting.
And a number of his earlier actions were primarily, we understand, property crimes.
This summer, McInnis was charged for an attempted aggravated robbery. The criminal complaint describes how a woman told police she was walking in South Minneapolis with a child when McInnis confronted her, demanded her cell phone, threw her to the ground, and ran off. The maximum sentence in that case would have been 10 years in prison, but McInnis pled guilty as an adult in exchange for no jail time and instead 3 years probation. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office declined to go on camera today, but says, quote, "This is right in line with what we have obtained in similar cases."
I talked with a former U.S. attorney over the phone. He says given the fact that McInnis did not have a weapon during the robbery attempt, and if it was his first time tried as an adult, it's not unusual for a plea deal like this to avoid jail time. Well, the concern, though, is he went from an attempted robbery to now being charged with premeditated murder. And Julie, Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman said yesterday they're still working to learn more about McInnis's past and any possible ties to a gang.
All right. Thank you, Ellery.
This makes no sense. Taking the life of another and a baby.
Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman wasn't mincing words Thursday as he talked about the 17-year-old he had just charged with premeditated murder.
That's homicide, that's idiocy, and if we can prove what we've set forth in the allegations, he deserves one heck of a lot of time in the big house.
Juwan Lee Arthur McInnis is being charged as an adult, 2 counts of premeditated murder and 2 counts of murder by drive-by shooting. Investigators believe he went after 20-year-old Gustav Christensen because he owed him money, killing a 7-month-old in the process.
McInnis is driving through the neighborhood. He sees Christensen. He parks his car a block away, runs through a couple houses, sees him, they talk briefly, and then he starts shooting.
At only 17, McInnis is no stranger to police. This summer, he pleaded guilty to attempted first-degree robbery. And before that, at only 11 years old, he ran away from home, prompting police to put out this alert. And as to where his parents were through all this, public records show his mother, Paula McInnis, has a lengthy criminal history going back to before Juwan was born. Everything from prostitution to assault and child endangerment.
All of these folks grew up. And did they have positive role models? You know, boys need a positive male role model. And if dad isn't around, they need another one.
Freeman says he'll pursue the maximum penalty of life in prison with no possibility of parole until 30 years.
The Hennepin County attorney claims that the 2 victims were not related. Jaden Redden, that 7-month-old's mother, was inside a nearby house when the shooting occurred. Jaden's father was nearby, picked up the car seat and took the baby to Children's Hospital, where he later died. McInnis is expected in court tomorrow. He has since been transferred to the Hennepin County Jail.
Teenager now charged as an adult with first-degree murder for the deaths of a man and a baby boy. KARE 11's Lou Raguse is following the story from our newsroom and joins us with more. Lou?
The 17-year-old suspect's name is Jaquan McInnis, and he is charged as an adult with first-degree premeditated murder. According to the criminal complaint, McInnis confessed after police caught him, admitting he shot Gustav Christensen and Jaden Redden, an 8-month-old baby. Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman says McInnis and Christensen had an argument about money before the shooting. Freeman says in other crimes he prefers not to leave juveniles with a criminal record, but he says this was no juvenile act.
It's not a juvenile act when you take a gun and you shoot somebody in broad daylight and then you shoot into a car and kill a kid. I mean, that's homicide, that's idiocy. And if we can prove what we've set forth in the allegations, he deserves one heck of a lot of time in the big house.
Freeman says he'll seek life in prison for McInnis if he's found guilty. Since he's under 18, McInnis would be most likely eligible for parole after 30 years of a life sentence.
A man convicted of killing a man and a baby at 17 years old, Jaquan McInnes, is now sentenced to 2 life sentences. Minneapolis police say in 2016, McInnes got out of a vehicle, walked up to another vehicle, then fired several shots. 20-year-old Gustav Christensen II and 7-month-old Jaden Redden died. The judge ordered the life sentences to be served consecutively, meaning McInnes is eligible for parole after 60 years in prison when he's about 80 years old. Katie Johnston for WCCO 4 News.